Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Inspire Her Africa podcast, where our main goal is to empower women and see them flourish. Thank you for joining us for the first episode of the year from the podcast. If it is your first time joining us, then you are in the right place. Is it too late to wish everyone a new year? I hope not. Happy New Year to everyone. I hope we are sticking to the goals and promises we made to ourselves for this year. I have some special guests with me here today, and I'll just give them the floor to just briefly introduce themselves for a raw and honest conversation about Black Tax. Today we'll be talking about what it means, how it shapes our lives, and the lessons we've learned along the way. We'll also share personal stories, we'll reflect on the highs and the lows of giving back to our families, and also just discuss how this tradition can evolve to ensure financial well-being for our future.
Hello, everyone. My name is Precious Chukwudi, and I'm the communications manager at Inspire Her Africa.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joanne, and I'm the communication intern at Inspire.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Chidima Ali. I'm the executive director of Inspire Her Africa, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much for being here tonight, lady. This isn't just a conversation about money. It's about identity, family, and the balance between honoring our roots and securing our own future. So whether you've experienced Black Tax firsthand or you're just curious about the cultural dynamics behind it, this episode promises an insightful and thought-provoking discussion. What is Black Tax? You know, when we read or see or hear the word or the phrase Black Tax, what is it that we think of?
I mean, from what I've heard previously, Black tax is kind of like when either family members or maybe close friends kind of bill you excessively, like make excessive demands, financial demands from you. That's what I know about it.
Okay, so I'll just add, for me, I'll say Black tax is a financial burden that families and friends put on someone that is making it. I mean, someone that is financially strong in the family.
Black tax to me is financial support that the family, most African family, expect from whoever is most financially stable in the family. So it's an expectation. It's a financial expectation from the most financial stable person in the family.
Well, I must agree with you ladies on that. You know, sometimes it can feel like an obligation for a young professional or someone who has made it out of the family. But now the question is that, should we view Black tax as a burden since?
There's a thin line to when it's too much. It's okay for you to help your family. When the demands keep getting too much, that's where I'll say is wrong, and then it becomes a burden. Then it's not bad helping your family out financially. But then when parents sees it as is a must, they have invested in that child and then they expect the child to give back, that's when it becomes wrong.
I think our culture, right, that's the African culture kind of, I would say, is, which I don't think is bad, right? It's kind of in a way where we have a very strong social support system that is not necessarily created by the government, but then within ourselves as a community. So that comes from that sense of responsibility where a member of the family that is doing well, you know, because of that strong social network, family social network. However, there is a very thin line to that to be being abused when someone doesn't draw boundaries. But I think that it is a very good system that we have that even, I would say, maybe developed countries actually admire a lot. There are experiences of people who, when they're old, they don't have anyone to take care of them, even though they had invested a lot in that relationship much earlier, which is kind of very different from our system and our structure. So I think the idea of it is good, but I think, as with everything, the practice oftentimes may become bad or get sour in between.
The main thing is to draw boundaries. Boundaries is what really make it, or what really differentiates it from being healthy or unhealthy.
Thank you so much, ladies, for just, speaking on these issues. And I really believe that setting healthy boundaries with your family also creates a good relationship with your finances. Because saying yes every time to every request that, that your family member always asks you sets you back financially. And so I do like to agree with what Precious said. It doesn't always have to be a burden. Do we feel like Black tax sort of affects our financial independence? Would life be better for us financially if Black tax did not exist, or if the obligation to give back to our families was not such a mandate? What do we think?
I think in terms of whether if it would be better for someone, there are two ways I'm thinking about it, right? For the person who is being taxed, I mean, in some cases, obviously, if you're not losing money, it kind of seems as if like there is more. However, with the excessive taxation of people, I think that's very wrong. But a situation whereby the other family member, for instance, I'm using a very extreme example. Let's say someone who is much more older, doesn't have anyone to take care of them. Let's say, for instance, the person has been reaching out for something and then they do something else that probably is a crime, eventually comes back to the person, right, who said no in the first place to try to resolve that, right? There have been cases where, let's say, someone goes to steal because their family member did not give them money. And then at the end of the day, they call the other person who may end up spending much more money to bail them out. I'm guessing probably there may be a time for us to talk about like maybe shifting the narrative or future outlook and stuff like that. I think the person being taxed, I would say directly not affect them. But then I'm just thinking indirectly, it may. It's a two-way situation, I guess.
It is natural for you to want to help your family, which I honestly have no issues with that, because it's very common in African home where you see the parents struggle to take you to school. I'm not saying that the parent is not supposed to do that, because if you know you cannot afford to take care of your child, you don't bet a child. That's my belief. The only way I would say, it will affect the person financially is when people that really have no contributions to your life bill you. Now, that to me is what I can quantify to see if it will affect the person financially or not. For example, people like extended family that really don't know about your existence, but since they just hear that you're doing well, you got a job, or you're outside the country, they then remember you and think it's an obligation of you to take care of them. Now, of course, that will affect the person.
Okay, so I'll just add to what Chidima said. To the person actually providing the money, I think it will actually affect your financial growth and your savings. I say just learn how to place priority. When the billing is unreasonable, it's okay to say no. Learn to follow your instinct also.
You know, for me, I really think that black tax is not really an issue, but it sort of becomes an issue when someone makes your money an obligation to them. And I've realized that sometimes I try to even plan my finances in such a manner that I'll have some funds remaining just in case someone asks me for money. So I think it's really not a burden. Really, I think if we just plan our finances maybe in a healthy manner, and also to leave room for the fact that some people will be needing money every month, even if it's not their money. So I just feel like we just have to be open to the fact that, family members will need help. And also from a cultural perspective, there's that need, for children to sort of give back. Sometimes I even just help people when they do not ask me for money, because I don't want any bad energy or bad luck just because I did not buy an uncle or an aunt something. On one hand, it can feel like a burden, but on another hand, it feels good to sort of also give back, to our families.
I think a sense of entitlement is probably one of the worst things any individual can have. And I also think that while we've talked about like supporting our family members as we should, I think that there should be, a boundary. I think boundary is not even the word I'm looking for. I think maybe focusing on a growth plan. I think entitlement is very, very bad. Like that is something that I would encourage any African lady to get off their mind. No one owes anybody anything. That's a mindset I have.
I actually think people owe people things. I don't believe in the idea that nobody owes anybody anything. Just like what I said, majority of Africans grow up poor. I mean, we experience our families sacrificing a lot for us. Now, it happens that you have the money right now and you not find it difficult to help out. Sincerely, I don't really subscribe to that.
I just to highlight on what you just said, somehow feeling that someone owes you something and someone should give you a response on something. I think that there is a very thin line between doing that and even you as an individual succeeding financially. So what I mean by that is this: there are people who they come to you, for instance, and say, hey, Mbatemwa is the rich cousin here. She's like, oh, hey, Mbatemwa, please give me $1,000, right? And then Mbatemwa is like, I'm sorry, I don't have. right now and genuinely she doesn't have, they become offended, right? I think for me, that is what I'm really referring to. And you're absolutely right. We owe people different things. I also don't believe in the concept of being self-made. I think that we all got to where we are. That's my personal belief, with help of people. No one owes you a yes. No one owes you to give you money in the context of that. So just being able to be okay if someone says, hey, I'm not able to give you right now. And then it should be okay. It shouldn't be a thing of, oh my God, can you imagine the little Mbatemo of yesterday? She's not giving me money. That's what I wanted to say about that.
Owing people nothing who did not really contribute to your well-being is fine. Because I realized with supporting your parents, or aunties or uncles who have played a role in your well-being, it comes naturally. Sometimes it doesn't even feel like an obligation because you know that this person also put in something, for your growth. But now the problem comes with people who also just feel entitled. Just because you help me one time does not guarantee me helping you for the rest of my life, even though, you are not doing well financially. It's like you grow up in such a large family that it's sort of hard to pick and choose who you will support. Now, that's the thing, that sometimes you don't even earn enough. And like you were the only one sort of, bringing bread home. Sometimes it becomes a burden because you have to buy food, you have to pay for the electricity, there's taxi fares for your younger siblings. That's why young professionals opt, to leave their house and just, deal with themselves rather than being at home. Because people believe that when you're at home, there's so much responsibilities placed upon you that you're not able to grow. So I really think that as African, we've also developed, you need to help yourself. I did not have anything. I went there, looked for a job. So I don't feel like I should give you my money. I will help you where I need to, but I worked for this, I made it out for myself. So you should do that too. And so that's where I think a lot of disputes also arise in homes, where people start feeling entitled.
I think that maybe previously there was like a structure of, okay, I'm going to train my kids and then my kids much later will kind of like take care of me. I think that, just having that retirement plan kind of eases a lot of pressure and burden on, one's children or extended. It kind of helps such that you can even tell your kids, hey, it's fine. It can even be a mutual thing where like Christmas, you exchange gifts, you give gifts to your kids. They also give gifts to you. I feel like it reduces a lot of pressure and the burden to make a particular decision.
Yeah, so the way forward is really to have a retirement plan, and please give birth to the number of children you can take care of, irrespective of a partner.
So I think we can all agree that black tax is not going to go away. For as long as you are African, or as long as you're a black African woman for that matter, you must already know that black tax is waiting for you. So on that note, what healthy manner can we tell someone to support their family?
I think just letting the person know, hey, I don't think I'm able to continue doing this for you, right? I think I can support you on this, or I can support you if you have a plan or an idea that, that will lead you to like independence. Communicating to the person so that they also see how it's good for them to be independent. Now, if it's a situation where the person cannot work anymore, I think, like I said, just circling back on that very honest conversation and just, being loving and kind. I strongly believe that in some cases that can honestly very much resolve that, right? Like, hey, this is what I earn. This is what I'm able to do right now, rather. I think that's very helpful. I think the last thing I want to say on that is like really drawing firm boundaries. Like that way they have that and then understand. And it's okay if you also don't have to like honestly communicate, I'm sorry, I don't have right now. I think that there are other ways to help people besides just giving them money.
My advice would be the one I got from my dad. My dad would always say, you're still starting out in life, you're still young, you really don't have a clear path right now. You cannot start giving when you're not even grown. You've not even matured. It's just like a seed you plant. Once you want to manufacture fruits when you've not even sprouted from the ground. So that's what I will advise that person. Understand that you're still growing. You've not sprouted from the ground. So you cannot manufacture fruits. And sincerely, nobody will die if you say no. nothing will happen to anybody.
And to just close it off, I really think that it's important for all of us to have a healthy relationship with money. And just like Precious said, it's okay to say no. You are an adult, no one will beat you up for saying no. I also think that we shouldn't make promises that we cannot. Just because someone explained to you that they are in a crisis this month, don't make a promise and say that next month you will have them covered. And then next month comes and your finances are not going as you thought they were. Now you are stressed. I really believe that it's okay to say no. It's okay to set healthy boundaries for yourself. And also, you are starting out. You are a little seed. Wait for yourself to sprout. You don't have to start trying to help everyone with the little money that you started making.
So thank you everyone for listening. You can as well follow us on all our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, X, and LinkedIn at Inspire Her Africa. And also you can subscribe to our newsletter and podcast